lost forever our sense of home. We made our choice, now we're hiding, floating down into the sea. We laid our lives and swam to freedom. The people called the angels holy names, and suddenly the rain came down, came falling down, and it washed away the pain that tied us to that shore. And that's how I learned to pray. The night the angels cry. Each one needs the other. Every woman, every man. And lives with.
When I first came to Cambodia in 1998, at the end of my first week here, I saw a country that was extremely poverty-stricken, totally devastated, without infrastructure. It had just crawled out from under 30 years of war. You know, people think that the American war in Vietnam ended in 1975, but for the war here in Cambodia, it continued until 1998. And so the peace had really just begun when I arrived, and there were no roads, there were no bridges, the schools were dysfunctional if they were even existing at all. Hospitals had been destroyed. The country was just about as devastated as you could make any place and still have human life. This is Paul, and he works for Paul Moe in the tractor factory here, and he's a welder. He studied at the Don Bosco Technical School, but he and his 9 brothers were destitute, living on the street, and the oldest brother, that's now the music teacher for the entire center, was driving a ciclo, which is a pedicab, to try to feed a family of 10. And they were starving to death. And Peter, you're the one that met him, actually got a taxi ride from him, from the older brother, and he was telling about his plight, and you brought the whole family into the orphan home. Like a pawnbroker. Yeah. Yeah. Now, just think about being a survivor, where you basically have one half of the people that were victimized by the remaining half, and you don't know whether the guy that you go out and hire to take you on your little motorbike taxi to the market in the morning might not be the one that killed your mother, your father, your child. Just think what that would do to things like compassion, or even simple human joy. And these people were empty shells. And when you talked to them about a God that loved, accepted, and forgave them and would give them a new start, they're very anxious to receive that. You see, the problem was that when they take their Buddhist culture, which says you will receive what you deserve, and they looked at their lives, they all suffered from one of 2 things, and oftentimes it was both. And that was, one, they were so full of bitterness over what was done to them, they could trust, love, and forgive no one. Dr. Lena is a pediatrician, board certified, and he's also a dermatologist.
ខ្ញុំឈ្មោះពងរ៉ូលីណាខ្ញុំចង់រៀបរាប់ពីជីវិតខ្ញុំកាលនៅតូចខ្ញុំប៉ាម៉ាក់ខ្ញុំបានស្លាប់នៅជំនាន់ពលពតដោយសារប៉ាម៉ាក់ខ្ញុំគឺជា nurse.
In March of 2001, I received Jesus Christ as my Savior, and then I saw all the orphan children that they were helping, and I knew I was an orphan, and I had talent and skill that God had given me, and I decided to dedicate my life to serving Him by helping the children of Cambodia.
I want to insert something. He almost cried. 3 days the Pol said, if your mom don't come out, if you don't come out, I will kill your grandfather, your grandmother, your brother, sister. They have 9 brothers, sisters together. And she said, I'll trade my life. I would die. She came out and killed her in front of him, just by the river. In front of him, killed the mother, so the brother, sister can live, his grandparents can live. That's the true story. The life trading, his mother's life trading. He ran, and his brother ran away. When the mother died over the other side of the river, he ran this way. With the uncle, called the uncle become mother and father, raise him up.
Or they were so full of guilt over what they did, they couldn't forgive themselves. And oftentimes it was both. And so when we talked to them about this God that would give them a new start, they basically responded, where do we sign up?
Bởi đây khi phơi caในក្នុងចំនួនខ្មែរក្រហមខ្ញុំគ្មានក្តីសុខក្នុងចិត្តខ្ញុំទេខ្ញុំមានតែភាពភ័យខ្លាចអ្នកគេប្រើឲ្យទៅត្បូងទៅត្បូងគេប្រើឲ្យទៅជើងទៅជើងអត់ហ៊ានតវ៉ាគេទេពេលនោះយើងអត់មានថាមានសិទ្ធអីនឹងនិយាយទេគឺខ្លាចគេយកទៅវាយចោលតែម្ដង
អត់ទេពួកខ្ញុំសមោភូមិមុខគ្រាន់តែត្រង់ត្រូវបណ្ណាំត្រូវមិនដឹងវាដល់ចេះតែអញ្ចឹងទេ
ពួកគេប្រើឲ្យយើងទៅធ្វើអីទៅធ្វើតែ
Us will do it no question asked
មុនជឿព្រះអង្គជីវិតខ្ញុំចេះតែព្រួយដឹងថាខ្ញុំប្រព្រឹត្តបាបតើបានណាអ្នកដោះបាបបាទដល់ពេលស្គាល់ព្រះអង្គបានដឹងថាអូមានម្នាក់ជួយយកបាបទៅធ្វើឲ្យជីវិតមានអំណរបាទ
Walking with the Lord and serving Him, I'm happy where I'm at now. I am district supervisor over at the Along Wang.
Well, there were thousands of missionaries here, hundreds of people trying to do church, and nothing happening. And finally, the Lord said to me, son, if you'll build a church that will minister to the whole person, I'll use you to build me a church in Cambodia. And I said, God, I'm honored, but why me? He said, tell me about yourself. So I went through, the whole spiel about born in Illinois, going to college, working in Laos, meeting my wife, preaching in Illinois for 12 years, and now I'm here in Cambodia. And he said, well, who are the Cambodians? I said, well, 85% of them are farmers. And then he said, well, what do they do? And I said, well, they raise rice. He said, well, what religion are they in mostly? I said, mostly Buddhist. What kind of government do they have? I said, pretty corrupt. And he said, well, what part of the world did this used to be? I said, well, the ancient kingdom of Jampa. And I was beginning to get the picture that everything that I had been through for 52 years was to develop me and bring me to that point and this place for the purpose of building the church here. And so he then said, how do you expect people to respond to your spiritual imperative when their children are dying because they can't afford 50 cents worth of penicillin? And I said, I don't know. And he said, what are you doing about the fact that they just got done, half the population got done killing a third of the other half, or half the other half? What are you doing to help them to live in love, acceptance, and forgiveness and develop community again? And I said, nothing. And he said, son, build me a church that will minister to the whole person, and I'll use you to build a church in Cambodia. And he gave me that strategic plan, the holistic plan, to minister to people spiritually, physically, and emotionally. And we started doing that. And today we have 3,000 churches and about 400,000 believers.
ខ្ញុំកុមារកំព្រាតាំងពី87មកអាយុឆ្នាំ1987មុនជឿព្រះអង្គកូននៅ ai sọc hay nơi cho mũi bong cái thông chiêng chứ hay cày một tiết đào nhom thông tới chập đào mà màu rau ca ngày thưa nơi rong chạ hay cày vì thưa ca rong chạ máu nhom thọp lư đầm nàng là opi Ted Sou bên lúc nhom chập đam chưa hay đọc bên nhom chập đam chưa nhom một phai một cung nơi bè bìa cho mũi cừu cùng về đó hay nâng chặt tôm ở vùng chỉ tràn này cha đọc bên nhom chưa băng và tiền bọc nhom men ca ngày thưa nơi nôngครูซาเนี่ยชื่อปองได้และคณะบำราตามเตียให้ตาเป็นลูกเมาขยมมันเดินมันโดนกับมากกับเปรียบน้องตีดตาไปมันจับเตียน้องเกย์น้องเตอร์สระวิ่งขยมมันเดินโดนกับมากกับเปรียให้กลายมาตีดนึงกับมากกับเปรียไปหาเจียประมาณชั้นนั้นเนี่ย
We have a trash can outside the gate. I go out there see the kids was eating. Looking through the garbage can that we throw away the night before, and my eye just rolled down. I just said, I can do this. I can have the orphan. I certainly can feed them. The food we just throw it away. What a waste! So that started first 1 and 2 and 4 and many,
40.
and God had provided up to 40, and some reason somehow. God did it and are successful today because we are willing to take them in. Once a year we do the big medical team, and this time we have an Ottoman J, one of the home church. The second day that we saw that man who brought the baby just about a month old. And it said I have such a problem because there's no milk. The mother gave birth to this baby and she died. And the father was looking at him and said, you are cursed, so I don't want to do anything with it. Somebody just take it. So the uncle, the wives of his wife, brother, I'll take it. And so they took it, but there's no milk. They used sweet condensed milk to make the milk for it. It's allergic to it. It start to have diarrhea. Over a month and a half. And he brought that baby like this, just walk over to the clinic. I saw the spot away probably 20 feet. I said, I point a finger, just go to the clinic, go to emergency room, I'll be there. When I went there, I look at that baby, I just fall in love like God says, your son. So we pray over it, we put the IV in it and medicate it. And about a couple hours, it stopped diarrhea. And then I asked the uncle, can I have this baby? He just think it over, I need to go talk to my mother. He said, you can have it. But I said, I need to have a paper. Everything's ready, and I put my name in there as his first name. And all the doctor and nurses just look it over what happened. This baby has been healed. It's no more diarrhea, no run. It's been done, no fever. So we took him and we brought him back. And right now he's running around. He's just a big chief in the training center.
When we came here in '99, Cambodia had the highest HIV rate in Asia. It was actually higher than sub-Saharan Africa. There was no knowledge of how HIV was transmitted. There was no sanitation practice. They had no medical care. And because of their poor state of the general health of the population, once they became HIV positive, they would be dead in 6 months. And so people were dying like flies. I mean, it was terrible. And most of the orphans, many of them, were AIDS orphans. Of course, malaria is still even a bigger killer now. And they've gotten kind of a control of the spread of HIV now in Cambodia. But at that time, we had so many AIDS orphans. And the general pattern was Cambodian culture, the men get together and hang one on once in a while, and it's usually finds its way down at the local institution, and they partake and wind up picking up the disease, bringing it home and giving it to mom. and 6 months later they're both dead, and they leave 5, 6, 8 kids. And so these kids would come into the church homes, and you know, you'd like to test every one of them for HIV. We were so afraid of it back then, but we found out that it's usually just the youngest children that have nursed since the mother became HIV positive that are infected with AIDS. And so we would test the youngest children. And we found a number of our kids that would be HIV positive, and they would soon manifest into full-blown AIDS. And we did that. We had no way to control that because we couldn't risk them infecting the healthy children, and we didn't have isolation wards, and we were really just at the end of our wits. We didn't know what to do. And I ran into Sister Vito, Sisters of Charity, and she said, you know, we'll take the HIV positive kids that have full-blown AIDS. And so she said, but I want you to take the healthy kids, because we get the AIDS kids. We can't take care of the healthy ones. We have no facility to do what you do. But you can do what we can't do, and we can do what you can't do. And so she said, bring your HIV kids and you take the healthy ones. And so we started this working relationship that's been going on now for almost 10 years, and they're our best friends.
3 years old.
3 years old, he looks like he's 1.
Are you man?
And you bite your name, man?
Bite your name? Bite?
Moi, P, bite.
Rejected by the parents.
Oh, baby.
HIV positive?
Yeah. Okay, baby.
The mother's HIV positive?
Run away.
Yeah.
Say, no, we are like a one body. Huh?
Yeah, amen.
Maybe you are a hand, maybe I am leg, maybe he is the eyes.
Right.
But we are doing all.
For the glory of God.
Glory, that's all.
Amen.
You know? What you can do, I cannot do. Hand cannot do the eyes work. Huh? Eyes cannot do the feet work. So what all doing together for His glory.
Yeah, I agree with you, sister. Thank you so much. So right now we're actually operating over 3,000 churches. We have 106 functioning church orphan homes, caring for over 3,000 orphans and widows. And those church orphan homes we've placed really strategically by the plan of God throughout Cambodia, so that there is more than one in every province of Cambodia, with pastors that are trained under our existing monthly training program. And then they come into the hubs. These 106 church homes are more than just orphan homes. They're divisional church headquarters.
1999 ខ្ញុំបានមកព្រះវិហារហើយមកព្រះវិហារខ្ញុំនៅតាមមុនខ្ញុំមកព្រះវិហារខ្ញុំរៀននៅសាលាព្រះគម្ពីរ AOG នៅពី AOG ប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំអត់សម្រេចចិត្តថាចង់ធ្វើជាគ្រូកង្វៀលទេហើយពេលខ្ញុំចូលទៅមក Foursquare ខ្ញុំគាត់អង្គុយនៅខាងក្រោយព្រះវិហារហើយប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំទៅអាទិត្យទី1ឃើញគ្រូកង្វៀលធម្មតាទី2ធម្មតាតែអាទិត្យទី2ខ្ញុំឃើញម៉ាក់ធំនិងប៉ាធំទៅហើយខ្ញុំអត់ស្គាល់ ប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំអត់ចាប់ផ្លឹកថាគ្មានអ្នកណាចាប់អារម្មណ៍ពីខ្ញុំតែម៉ាក់ធំច្អល់ដាក់ខ្ញុំឲ្យខ្ញុំឡើងមកខាងលើហើយខ្ញុំថាឡើងទៅអីក៏ទៅដល់គាត់ថាព្រះអង្គប្រាប់ម៉ាក់ធំថាឲ្យខ្ញុំខ្លាចជាអ្នកដឹកនាំមកខ្ញុំថាខ្ញុំអត់ចង់ខ្លាចជាអ្នកដឹកនាំប៉ុន្តែនៅពេលនោះគាត់ចាប់ដាក់ទិដ្ឋានដាក់ដៃខ្ញុំឲ្យចាក់ប្រេងតាំងឲ្យខ្ញុំពេលនោះខ្ញុំចាប់ដើមញាក់នឹងខ្លួនខ្លាំងមែនតើអត់ដឹងថាអ្វីដែលដឹកកោះអស្ចារ្យមួយកើតនឹងខ្លួនឯងហើយខ្ញុំឃើញពេលនោះមានព្រះវិហារតាតែមួយហើយគឺ6ដែលហាក់ដូចជាស្ងួតមែនតែនមានពួកជំនុំតិចមែនតែនប៉ុន្តែនៅថ្ងៃដែលបាត់ចាក់ប្រេងតាំងឲ្យខ្ញុំយើងឃើញរឿងមួយដែលប្លែកឡើងគឺចាប់ពីពហិមួយរហូតដល់ពហិ 3000 ជាងជំនាញស្រុកខ្មែរដល់ឥឡូវនេះជាការមួយដែលឃើញក៏អស្ចារ្យដែលព្រះអង្គកើតឡើងហើយខ្ញុំជឿជាក់ថាការចាក់ប្រេងតាំងវាអំណាចស្លាមែន
We have never started an orphanage.